Welcome to Toffee Blue View, your source for all things Everton. Gerry, Max, Tom, Terry, and those are the names of the people on this segment. Hey, so I feel like we've all got different expectations of a season. You know, you start the season. Are you super optimistic? Is that the type of person you are? Or are you one of those people who starts pessimistic from the beginning so that you're sort of just surprised and you don't feel bad about life when it doesn't live up to your expectations? But we're mid-season now. We've had a taste. We understand what Silva's bringing to the table. We understand what the players are bringing to the table. And we understand what the rest of the squads in the league are bringing to the table. So what is an acceptable finish for this Marco Silva squad in this season? We're going to have to lead with Max. Max has not had his time yet. So Max, what's acceptable when you look back on this season at the end of it in May? You say, you know what, I am well pleased. What's the minimum for you?
I've given 2 series of events in which I deem it an acceptable season, and you can give me feedback if you wish. Firstly, I put 7th place in Wembley or top half in the FA Cup.
Interesting.
Did you go over? Because how can you argue with that?
I mean, it's holding them to quite lofty standards, but that 7th place has just got to be nailed down, in my opinion. I think before we ever consider assaulting the top 6, we've got to nail down that 7th place. We need to stop slipping between, 11th and 10th and battling out with Watford and Bournemouth and Leicester. We need to really separate ourselves from the pack and look like a real challenge. And as I say, in terms of the league, I'd take 7th in Wembley, but ideally, I just want the FA Cup. I've said this every year since I've been alive. I've never seen us win a bloody thing. I just want to see us winning something. So the FA Cup would be lovely, thanks.
So Max, is Europa League playing into all of that? As in, because clearly, in those circumstances, we would be in Europa League.
Yeah. Is
that part of your thought process, or it doesn't matter?
I mean, we should be fighting on all frontiers. I know. I mean, we've seen, how badly it can affect us if we end up getting, Europa League playoffs. How much of a drag that puts on our season. But as I say, the revenue difference between us and the top 6 is absolutely massive. I mean, we need to get maximum exposure as we possibly can. I want to see us fighting on all frontiers. I want to see us winning the 2019 FA Cup. I want to see us in the Europa League for next year, because I feel like in terms of our trajectory and our progression, that's what the ambition should be.
All right, Tom, you want to follow that?
Yeah, I feel like the Europa League, I love being in the Europa League so much, but I feel scarred by the other season. Last season when we were in it and we just got absolutely bullied out of it. The worst any English team ever has. And it scarred me, and it's made me think I don't want to be in the Europa League unless we're actually fully ready. We've got a proper deep squad and we're fully ready for it, because I just feel like that was an embarrassment to the club. Let us down in front of everyone in Europe. It made it look like a terrible team, but I don't want that to happen again. But I feel like with another summer, maybe the brands would have the squad ready. But I like what Max said in terms of those 2 possibilities, because it kind of gives us two chances, kind of in a way, to get that Europa League qualification, if that's what we're aiming for. But I do think we still are the 7th best team in the Premier League, even though we haven't been playing like it in the last few weeks. I think 7th is what we've got to aim for, because we aren't as good as the top 6, but we are, I think, as a team, when we're at our best. Obviously, you could argue for them, the other side as well. But I think even when they're at their best, the likes of Bournemouth, Watford, Leicester, I do think we're the 7th best team in the Premier League. And even when the other sides are at their best, so I do think 7th is what we should aim for, really. If not this season, I don't think. I suppose it's always going to be a building season, so we're not really looking for somewhere to finish. So it's league position for me this season is massively important because it is silver season of like bedding in, and obviously there's a big gulf between the new players and the players who he's inherited, I think, anyway. So I do think it's very much a building season. I know everyone's saying work in progress, but that's what it is. And position in the league isn't massively important for me this season, with being Silver's first in charge. So 7th would be great because we are the best, 7th best team in the Premier League, but anything else on a good FA Cup run, I'd be happy with.
So it seems like your expectations are a little more gentle, a little less iron-fisted than than Max's. Okay, Terry, where are you at on all this?
Very similar to what Max said, but see, for me, the first step on where we want to go is to put real distance between 7th place, which is us, and everyone behind us. We want to make it so if we want to get to the, win a title within 10 years, if we want to start really looking to crack that top 6, we need the very first, before we do any of that, to make sure it's not a flash in the pan, have a couple of years at least where everyone, the national media here, everyone just starts to talk about the top 7. Top 7. Everyone else is aiming for 8th because the top 7, like they think of the top 6 now, is spoken for. You're going to get Man United, Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, and Everton. They're the top 7. Tottenham, sorry. No one's going to crack into that. There's varying levels of quality within that, obviously, but no one's good enough to catch Everton. So 8th is what everyone else aims for every season. They're the 7 teams. That said, I think if you wanted me to choose that or the FA Cup, I think the FA Cup goes further because I think the club will kick on at 100 miles an hour if we win a trophy. It'll get that monkey off our back. Europe's massive for me. I want us to be playing in Europe every season, no matter what. I think the club needs European football. I think the club is a European level team. It always has been. It has been as long as I've supported Everton for the most part. And if you win the FA Cup, you go straight into the Europa League. We are the best Europa League, if you like, level team in England. We're the only ones who take it seriously. We're the only ones who treat it like the teams from other countries do, who really go for it and enjoy the Europa League. Everyone else doesn't bother with it. Everyone else sees it as a distraction. The only other teams who do well in it are teams who drop out of the Champions League. Other than that nightmare season, which Tom alluded to, we've always been one of the stronger teams in the competition going into it because everyone goes, no one wants to draw Everton whenever they get into the Europa League if we're in it. Now, I would prefer not to do that stupid starting in July, rounds of qualifiers. But if it's that or no Europe, I would take that because it helps on the financial front, it helps on the prestige front for players, it makes us look bigger. And I want us to win that competition. I mean, right now we've certainly not got the squad, but the FA Cup, the League Cup, and the Europa League, if we consistently qualify for it again, they're winnable cups for a team of our standard. And if we carry on adding players, we've been good enough before and not done it. Even as recently as Martinez's season, when we went out to Kiev, should have won that year. We were close to winning it. There's been times when we were with David Moyes and could have won it when it was the UEFA Cup. We were just unlucky. One of those 3 trophies comes to Goodison Park, and you will see a massive change from the supporters, from the perception by everyone else. It's just getting that off our back. So, yeah, 7th needs to be ours and ours alone. No one gets above 7th apart from us in the top 6, and we need to win a trophy. Acceptable for this season, one or the other. Next season, both or better.
All right. I'll just go ahead and tell you my reasons are not nearly as impassioned or thought out as you guys. Because here's the reason for that, though. I feel like you guys have earned those impassioned responses. You guys have been supporting the club for a really long time. I have not. So for me, I want Europa League however we get it. If it's through FA Cup, badass. That's amazing. That's a trophy. Definitely. All right. But if it's through 7th, that's more money TV-wise than ninth would be. And honestly, any little bit of money is good for the club because we're just trying to catch. We're just trying to catch people. I love what you were talking about, Terry, about putting the distance between us and other clubs. The other clubs that are scrapping for that 7th through 11th or 12th, there's a glut there of all clubs that are kind of all putting together fairly consistent results. They're consistent in that they're inconsistent, if that makes sense. Leicester, you could see them, give one of the top teams a good match, and then they'll lose to somebody you don't expect. Watford will do the same thing. Bournemouth will do the same. A lot of these teams we are in that category right now. West Ham's the same. That's because that's where we're at in the table, just the way it is. I love the idea of pulling away from that group and getting to remember we were talking about last time with the neutral's perspective of our club. I think that's a way to do it. That a trophy, consistently getting Europa League. This is the way. This is the way we start.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really just want Europa League either way we get it. I don't like watching European football. It just angers me when we're not I want to have a dog in the fight. You know what I mean? Like I want to sit there and like genuinely be caring about those games instead of just saying, "Oh wow, there's good football on display here," which is what I would normally be saying. The idea of watching those games with passion, oh my God, totally different experience, and I want that because I feel like the supporters deserve that. They deserve to be able to have that passion. Because I'm done. I feel like you guys said everything that needs to be said. All right. I'm with you. Yeah. I get all excited hearing you guys talk about this. Yes. I'm like, yes. So anyway, so let's hope that that the club, that the squad actually makes this happen. Let's hope we look back on this season and we say, you know what? That was all right. That was all right. So, okay. Anything else on this, guys? This is a pretty... It's grown a little longer than expected, but honestly, it's a lot of, strength, a lot of fervor going into this. So it's going to happen. All right. So that is the end of our acceptable finish segment, our expectations. And this is actually our last video segment of this bunch. So after this, we'll be following it up on the podcast. So if you want to switch over to there, we've got an If You Know Your History quiz between all three of these guys, Price is Right style. So if you want to see these guys go head-to-head in a little cage match, you won't see it. You'll hear it on a podcast. So switch on over to that if you want. In the meantime, thanks so much for watching. If you want more Tom, well, check out the Toffee Blues Extra show. That's the first way you can see Tom. All right. Then there's other ways you can hear Tom on various podcasts and radio shows. He's in demand. It happens. So it's basically keep an eye on his Twitter. He'll tell you where he's going to be. Max, similar situation. He's on other podcasts and submits other content. Both of those guys, frankly, check out their Twitter. But they also do stuff for the Toffee Blues website. A lot of Everton analysis there. Check it out for their stuff. Keep an eye on Terry's Twitter as well. Not just for his witticisms or his basic human life commentary, but also he'll tell you when he's going to be showing up on the Liverpool Echo fan jury. Because his words be purdy about Everton. So check that out. All right, and I think that's it. So we're gonna go do a quiz now. So switch on over. If you don't, we'll miss you, but we'll see you next time. Bye.